What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 3 of my Total War Warhammer 3 Malakai Makaisson Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, we went through the Tower of Korak, effectively saving the territories of Kislev from constant onslaught by the Slaneshi under Azazel, and have continued moving southward towards more Norskins around here. I guess the issue is that to complete our victory, we need to move to the Darklands rather than where we're currently going, as Legion of Asgore, Servants of the Conclave, and Grimgor's Ardboys need to be destroyed, but we're currently heading in the wrong direction. That said, if we don't take Norska, we'll constantly be under attack everywhere else, so we'll need to deal with this until we get a second army to essentially take over the Norskan conquest while Malakai starts moving down here. Also, we do have the underway network, which will help us out. I'm just not sure where the other locations are. Because this would certainly help. Wait, do we have one in Krakadrak? Are we able to actually use that? I guess we'll see. Complete the legendary grudge, retake the realms to access the underway network here. We'll take a look at that later on, but for now we have other things to do. First of all, we have unlocked the battle for the legendary... the Malakai's adventures, and we also now have access to the grape shot ammunition for these guys, which is just swell. And I think since we're at full HP and since we can't move, we should probably do that battle right now. So get out of ambush stance for the turn, I guess. And we do have a camp stance available as well, which is great. Let's level up and then let's get into it. Also, I noticed that Malakai has no items. Okay, for good reason, we have no items. Oh my, okay, we gotta probably spend some oath gold to get some, because otherwise, it feels so weird to be in the third episode and not have any. Elf's Lair is gonna probably help out against the, well, elves that we're about to fight. Might as well get Zombie Slayer as well, just because we have it. Ancestral Grudge won't help, so I guess more points into hard to hit for Gotcha. Oh, wait. Or, at rank 12, we'll get the upgrades. You know what? Just take Elf Slayer for now, and leave the others. Physical resistance, eh? It's only casualties from vampiric territory, eh? You know what, just take Elf Slayer and we'll leave the other points. What about Felix? Anything that'll be helpful here? I'm not entirely sure. Dragon Slayer doesn't look like it actually would help against dragons in any way, though I suppose the fire resistance would make him a little bit tankier. Funnily enough, he really doesn't hit very hard at only 391 in weapon strength, so... I guess we'll keep him as he is. No additional runes to be applied to the army, unfortunately, so we're just about good to go. But before we do, let's see, we did once more reach the engagement threshold, so this episode will be an hour long, and should we get 400 likes and 60 comments, the next episode will follow suit as well. Now, building the refectory will continue, but for now, let's do the actual battle. With the cannons tinkered with to near perfection, a battle of legend awaits. A chance to avenge doughy blood spilled by a rampant dragon. Nestled at the base of a towering rock face lies a yawning cave entrance, uncovered by the keen eyes of your adventuring party, who have also spotted elven dragon riders rallying nearby. A thunderous roar echoes from the cave's depths, and bones litter the passageway into the dark. Every clue points to one dangerous truth. The dragon lurks within. Alright, and we get Dragonhide cloaks as a reward, a little bit of fire resistance for a Slayer unit and those glittering scales, which ain't too bad, and passive ability Awe-Inspiring Sight for the Spirit of Grungni army. I certainly like that. The vigor reduction is always nice to see. Now, Oh, the dragons are coming in as a reinforcement after we defeat this army, which includes, I see, Dragon Princes and Swords Masters of Hoeth. I also wanted to check one other thing. Somebody in the comments pointed out that these things can be found by zooming to location. There's one, I guess one's kind of far, and I take it I'll just find out if we can zoom to another one. And if we press it again, no, it won't zoom to any. Yeah, okay, this one's too far, so I think we're gonna do the battle right now, rather than wait. Right there, teleport away. hope I don't come to regret this when I get so heavily damaged here, but, well, too late to cry about it now. Okay, so it's not just the one dragon. We've got 2 additional dragons coming in, and this one's super powered. 86 melee attack, 73 melee defense, a massive HP pool, heavy weapon strength. Alright, it's gonna take some effort. Flaxen's Rune of Seeking, we're certainly gonna want you in here to help us out. And I guess away we go. I wonder if we get a pre-battle speech on these Malakai's adventures. Let's find out. No longer shall the draconic mounts of the haughty dragon princes wreak devastation upon the innocent. Malakai Makaisson must settle the score or die trying. Dragon riders rally in defense of the beast he has come to slay and others that accompany it, but Makaisson remains unmoved. Bringing his mighty cannons to bear upon the dragon's lair hidden in the mountains, the Slayer engineer marches forth to seek redemption through glorious battle.
Time for some target practice! Whoa, that's a big lizard! Ready the cannons, Dowie! Gold for you if you can take its eye out! Ship exploded! But bad luck doesn't come in threes!
Alright, so, best speech ever, right? Gotta love all the mocking that Malakai does of all the elven stuff. I have to appreciate that. Anyway, here we go. The enemy army is arrayed before us, and the enemy is coming with reinforcing dragons, though we know not from where. Hopefully it's not behind us or to the sides of us, as that's going to be quite difficult to deal with for our cannons. And speaking of our cannons, the enemy has 3 units of dragon princes deployed, and thus 3 of our cannons will be targeting them and hopefully knocking as many of them out as possible before they can do any damage. Getting some nice shots into the blobs of dragon princes there. There we go. Dragon princes are tier 3? Huh. I thought they'd be tier 4. They're a pretty darn high tier unit, but interesting. Interesting. And nonetheless, the enemy army keeps on coming, though the dragon princes are suffering quite a bit into the cannon fire. Do have to be careful with the gyrocopters, as it looks like the Tyrannok chariots want to knock them out. Soon the enemy range units will be, well, in range, or at the very least the archers will, and we will have to react to that in some way, whether it be by sending our Slayer pirates forward, or by switching to Grape Shot and targeting those units. Speaking of Grape Shot, here we go, starting to target some of those Swords Masters of Hoeth. And and that poor unit of Swords Masters that we focused down has lost about 60% of its HP, doing a little bit of damage to one of the units of Spears here as well, pretty darn effectively by the looks of it, and getting ready to switch to the next unit of Swords Masters, lest they reach our line of regular Slayers, after all, or Slayer Pirates. After all, these are Slayer Pirates, and they should be too weak to face off against the Swords Masters in melee combat, but that'll only apply if Swords Masters actually get to melee combat. And at the very least, this unit is not likely to do so. Unfortunately, all those light archers are doing quite a bit of damage to our poor, unarmored Slayers. They've also, well, they do have 25% missile resistance, but that's just not enough by the looks of it. Dragon Princes did attempt to charge us on the left flank, but got pretty much destroyed by our cannon. It looks like over on this side, Gotrek and Felix are moving out to deal with the rest, with a little bit of help from the Giant Slayers. They've got anti-large aplenty, and will hopefully bring down those Dragon Princes. There we go. That's what we've got these guys in this particular team for, considering they don't have guns. And though I still haven't decided what exactly the final army for Malakai is gonna look like. I'm pretty sure we're still gonna keep Gotrek and Felix around because it seems lorefully accurate to do so. Anyway, the Spirit of Grungni is now on the field, arriving right over a blob of enemy spears that were fighting our Slayer pirates and bombing them down below. And pretty much obliterating the two units fairly quickly. Does the Spirit of Grungni do splash damage to our own units? Does it do friendly fire? I'm not sure. Seems like all that cannon fire and those bombs dropped from it are pretty dangerous, but who knows? Who knows? Anyway, looks like well, let's see. Alright, it looks like it does do friendly fire. I just saw these 3 units of dwarfs get knocked around, and they didn't get back up. So, yeah. Oh, and the Spirit of Grungni just shot this guy. No, he does get back up, though. Interesting. Anyway, it looks like the main enemy force has collapsed, or at the very least, the elven line has collapsed, and the dragons have arrived on the field fairly quickly. Oh, we got some cages all the way back here. Is this the one where no, I think there's another map where there's some cages with like giant skeletons in them, which was pretty neat, but these appear to actually be more or less empty. Anyway, as I was saying, the main enemy stack has collapsed and the dragons have arrived on the field, but it looks like they're actually going to try to chase after our gyrocopters with brimstone guns, attempting to establish that air superiority. While they're chasing after him, Garagrim has found the enemy elven lord here, and has led a pile of Doomseekers towards said enemy lord. And they should be able to bring her down pretty darn quick. Oh, Spirit of Grungni, stop that. Please don't kill off a bunch of our own units like that. And one more hit will destroy said enemy lord. Alrighty, well, it looks like our units of gyrocopters are still being chased by those dragons. Fortunately, they are now in range of our cannons, and it's time to start bringing them down. Spirit of Grungni also heading towards the other dragon here, Rua. I guess that's the big old dragon. And I do believe I tried to fire the harpoon at it, but it didn't seem to do all that much damage. Alright, keep firing those cannon shots. Sorry, my cat's making noise in the background, so that might be a little bit of an annoyance if you guys can hear it on the mic. Looks like the Star Dragon breaths are going to come down and cook a few of our Slayers, unfortunately, though it does give us a nice cinematic shot, even as it does so. There we go, keep those guns firing while the dragons use their breaths on us. Hopefully that'll distract them long enough. Surprisingly, the cannons didn't stagger the dragons out of the breaths, because in the Tamarkand campaign, a single volley from Pink Horrors staggered the Toad Dragon, which is much, much bigger, out of its own breath attack, but surprisingly cannon fire didn't stagger these guys out of theirs. Anyway, it looks like with Gotrek and Felix charging forth, the first of the Sun Dragons is broken. The other one is still flying around. It looks like we'll get another Dragon Breath out, and it's time to face off against Rua. The Giant Slayers with their anti-large, Gotrek, Felix, and Garagrim will all try to face this thing down, while the cannon fire hopefully brings the dragon in the sky down as well. And we're getting a little bit of help from Malakai and some of our Thunderers firing away. And this big old dragon is focusing down Garagrim Ironfist, who has lost about 60% of his HP in the middle of combat, though, and this is a good place to find your doom. He is, however, going to have to back off, as another hit or two would have brought him down. Fortunately, though, the dragon will perish as Gotrek, Felix, and the Giant Slayers deliver the last blows, and with that, the battle is ours. We did take a little bit of damage, mostly on Garagrim and I think one of the units of Slayer Pirates, but otherwise, the battle went fairly well. I suppose, considering that the game essentially gave us the solution to this particular battle in the form of those cannons, it's essentially designed for you to do decently well, but I am still very curious about the other battles and pretty darn interested in how they'll go. Well, alright, a very, very nice fight, I'd say, though unfortunately that gave us no additional grudges settled. I was really banking on that for the additional, well, grudges in order to try to get to that third tier. Otherwise, we are still in the negative tier with only 2 turns remaining. Looks like the enemy dragon really didn't like Garagrim as he nearly died, which is, well, it's supposed to happen in the lore, but we probably don't want that to happen. Another interesting aspect of this is that the cannon that had the Rune of Seeking, which used to be really decent on cannons, is now actually, it now actually makes the cannon worse, because it makes the cannon unable to switch to Grape Shot, and as we can see, all the other cannons did more damage than the Seeking Rune did. Which is a bit of a shame, but what can you do? I guess we'll put that rune on another type of artillery, like an organ gun or something. Otherwise, we have taken a little bit of damage ourselves. We could heal up, but at the same time, we do need cash. I think that despite the fact that we're damaged, we're going to take the cash. I'm hoping that we can still get into camp, which we should be able to, yes, because of the horde thing, and we still heal up quite a bit. And Dragonhide Cloak's available, and a Helm of Discord available as well as the Grim Delvers. Now, Adventure Complete, Dragonsbane, swell. This gives us... Oh, the Helm of Discord was from winning some battles. That's lovely. Alright, so there's a few more things we'll want to do before ending the turn. First of all, Malakai, I guess you're just marching forward. We wanted to get this propeller thing up and running. A, for the campaign movement range, but B, to get that increased duration, and we'll be able to get max duration fairly quickly as well, which is nice. Oh, and we get the Spirit of Grungni within the circle as well later on. Well, that's just lovely as well. But yeah, go for the engine room. We only have 3 turns remaining of Expand the Hold, and we damn well should make good use of it. Probably should upgrade to the barracks, though at the same time, the money is a little bit steep right now, so I'm not 100% on it. That also should have leveled us up enough to get this stuff. So, Gottrik's Doom, Fate of Grimnir, now available. Melee defense plus 40 and damage resistance plus 40. Only for 22 seconds, mind you, but in a dangerous situation, that should be good. I assume that this treasure hunter thing will apply to the accompanying lord. Hopefully it's not just a holdover from when Gottric was a lord, and thus wouldn't work. Although I wouldn't be surprised if it did. And then lastly, we get a Hardened Adventure, a little bit of hit points, and Unwavering Perfect Vigor, and Causes Fear. And getting stuck in will give us even more damage, but we'll have to wait for now. Felix, you get Helping Hand, which gives a melee attack plus 40 and damage resistance plus 40, and affects allies in range, lovely, to help Gottric do more damage. Charmed attacks for Felix himself, bonus weapon strength and infantry damage, immunity to diplomatic penalties from trespassing, always lovely to have, and Guardian, more physical resistance, help out Gottric, and then Blood Oath to replace, or Committed Blood Oath to replace the regular Blood Oath, as well as Unbreakable, and more healing. Lovely. To the bitter end. And these two just got considerably stronger. Garagrim, now, do you have anything that reduces upkeep of Slayers? And indeed you do. We just need to get you to level 12. Oh. We can't level him yet, because, wait. Felix has replenished troops at tier 3, and we don't want to lose that, so next time we'll level Felix instead of screwing that over. Malakai, you can get Slayers to me, which reduces their upkeep, as currently our army is made up of primarily Slayers, so we gotta make use of it. We still want to complete these two, which we will shortly, but we should also start on another adventure. Now, the interesting question is, which one do we start right now? So, if we can't get to this Age of Reckoning up and running, I think the only way to do it is to head to the Winter Pyre. So Stochel Holdfast will instead march stance all the way to the edge of our own territory here. We will then recruit stuff and then hit this over the next turn, and then hope that that will be just enough for us to... I really hope that, yeah, it looks like you should be able to reach it. Just enough for us to get into the Age of Reckoning Trom, because I really do want that growth reduction, control, and upkeep for Grudge Settler plus 50%. That's pretty nasty. And now, one way to guarantee this is to start on an adventure that will give us some units that we can put into the army. I really wanted some more gyrocopters and bombers for Malakai's Air Force, but I think... flame cannons could be nice. They're quite expensive, but at the same time... We could also get the Goblin Hewers, but the Goblin Hewers are going to go into our Slayer army, and ooh, we got organ guns here. 275 and 275, both of these are even. Though this being a higher tier Malakai's adventure, I'm willing to bet that it'll be a little bit more difficult. And thus we'll need more stuff in our army before we can get it. Nonetheless, the flame cannons, I think, are the way to go. It's a lot of gold on this. But it'll guarantee this and this army will be able to move. Phase 4, Spirits in Battle, establish diplomacy with Empire or Kislev, investigate the Empire nobles. Sure, start adventure. Alright, well, that's our next one, and then we got 5 turns until we can start the next, which will probably be one of the Air Force ones for Malakai. Lovely. Now, flame cannons will receive permanent upgrades, but more importantly, we can get flame cannons into this army, and the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. I think this will be the start of a beautiful friendship, I mean a beautiful army with fire focus. I do love my fire armies, so that should be fun. Now, buildings. Trollheim Mountains, we cannot get anything from you. There's nothing to be built here, and can't really collect the income from Help It, although maybe we can. Collect the income. It's not a lot, but, well, we need it right now. You're building your propeller, so you're good. I'm not going to build the billet/barracks as yet, but it's probably something we will want to do. Alright. I also probably want a flame cannon in Malakai's army, at least one, but for now I think we'll put it in the other. Wait, are you able to leave March Stance? Damn, no, I was hoping to get a couple more regular Dwarf Warriors in here, but alas, it's not going to work. Okay, that's fine. We will deal. What do we need to do here? Kill 15... Okay, yeah. Kill enemies with flame cannons, fight battles against wood elves, fight malevolent tree-man army, Dodan. I take it we're not able to teleport over here. We'll have to manually walk down there. Okay, it's a little bit far, but, well, we'll get to it eventually. What else we got? Complete a dilemma, which is where? Also all the way down here. Alright, fight battles with monsters, monstrous infantry, or beasts. That one should be easy. And form a trade agreement with an Empire or Kislev faction. That should be easy enough. Oh! We found Etain. They don't like us very much. Why did we find them? Did a quest become available here? Interesting. Hopefully they all don't randomly declare war on us, though we wouldn't be surprised, to be fair. Alright, well, nothing else to do this turn, which means I take it we can skip and end the turn and then proceed. I imagine that since we're not in ambush stance anymore, Felman Ingerson will run. But at the same time, what can we do about it? Nothing. Nothing at all. Feels like I'm wearing nothing at all. Anyway, end turn. Alright, Boris, just try to survive for a few more turns, man. We're gonna have to step to Winterpire before we move to bail you out. I really, really want Boris to survive. If I were to start the campaign over, I'd do a few things differently. Namely, try to help Boris out earlier, and allow Azazel to destroy these guys to take their territory, including Erengrad. But hey, this might keep the campaign a little bit more interesting, and I think one of the fun things about starting a new... Oh... Negative growth. One of the fun things about starting a new campaign is making some mistakes. Anyway, we're headed to the Winterpire, so let's get a Warriors of Dragonfire Pass. We'll pop the Grimdelvers into this army for now as well. Oh, this is all going to be very costly. And 2 flame cannons, 3 flame cannons. They're short range, but we do need them. We can always build more manually. Alright, oh, that's expensive. This is very expensive now. 2 more turns on Expand the Hold, meaning we can build the next thing, but for now what we'll do is pop ourselves into ambush and try to move towards the Bay of Blades while in ambush. Hopefully, Felman will fall for it. And then we can hit the Bay of Blades right after. Alright, that's you guys. Tower of Crack, I guess we can upgrade you despite the cost. Just gotta be careful about going bankrupt now. Then we need to head everybody to Sioktraken, which will pop you into March Stance, and then we'll pop you into March Stance as well. and reduce the costs there. I'm gonna make use of this for 2 more turns. Alright, you're both in the right place. No, you're in Crackerdrack still. Go to Siaktraken. Alright, there we go. Construction cost reduction gives us this for 680 only. Port for 700. I think it was 2600 without the cost reduction, which is a pretty big difference. And we gotta get the money here. Alright, then we send the boat to the lair of the Troll King next turn, and then upgrade whatever we can there, and then back to Crackerdrack before Expand the Holds ends. You, sir. Did I give you all 3 flame cannons? I did. I'm gonna hold off on getting Grudge Settler Slayers, though, because that feels like it's not a good use of our resources. Ropsman clan. How do the other Kislevites feel about you? Oh, they're okay with you. Let's do this. Like so. A little bit of a trade agreement, which establishes that trade agreement with any faction, and Anger the Forest of the Forest, mission successful as well. Nice. What did that give us? A little bit... Oh, 5,000 treasury. Yes, considering we're losing gold. That's a good thing. Although I didn't read this, so I will now. The malevolent treemen devastating the Empire provide a glorious opportunity for doom, but you must resist throwing yourself at the monsters for now. With the Empire invoking age-old oaths to ask for your help, you should first ascertain precisely what it is you are up against. At the very least, to know how much black powder and munitions to bring to the fight. All of it. All the black powder and munitions. The nobles who saw their land ravaged by the twisted creatures would be a good place to start. Nice. Alright, ooh, and that Heart of Malevolence is looking pretty decent as well. Yes. Alright. We'll get to you eventually. For now, we got other things to do. And did I start building that refectory anywhere? No, but I probably should. We could build one at the lair of the Troll King, I suppose. As opposed to Crackerdrack, which probably has limited room to build other things. Yeah, alright, keep going as you are. You, sir, Stochel, we need to declare war on Wintertooth. They are currently at war with the World Walkers, and though our allies probably won't like it... it's only 500 gold, probably not worth it. Probably not worth it pissing off our allies just for that small amount of cash. You, sir, go to Axelord, because, well... Well, the thing is, we don't know exactly what's going to be in your army. What else does fire damage? The miners with blasting charges do fire damage. And iron drakes do as well, but nonetheless, go for Axelord for now. Physical resistance for miners, dwarf warriors, and longbeards units. I might have to swap to a different lord for this fire army. The thing is, I fear that maybe Rune Lord would be better for it. Not 100% on it, but certainly something we have to consider. Also, let's take a look at the Master Engineers we have available. The conventional one might be decent. For Malakai. I mean, he's gonna have a lot of artillery. Yeah, fine, let's get the conventional one. I don't want him to disappear, because who knows when we'll get another decent one. And back up to minus 2k. Huh. Ooh, wait. You... I was gonna try to move this guy in to try to bait Felman Ingerson, but it looks like I moved Malakai too far, which might unfortunately not work. Then I think you're gonna have to stay right here, my friend. At least until we're ready to trade you the slayers of that army. In the meantime, let's head to Winterpire. Declare war, yes. And do we auto-resolve this? Do we risk auto-resolving this? How close is Throg? Oh, I see another little army right here. We could see our flame cannons in action for a first time. It'll be a minor battle, but I kind of want to see the flame cannons. Go. Alright, here we go, just a teeny tiny fight, but we've got our flame cannons to play around with, and damn did I love these things before they got their rework, and I'm willing to bet I'm gonna love them here as well. They do have fairly short range, at least at the current time, so it's gonna be a little bit of a while before the enemy gets to us, but our grudge settler, grudge thrower can still fire away, and interestingly it has shrapnel projectiles as well. Speed reduction by 60% due to monstrous impact is pretty impressive and could actually combine fairly well with flamethrower units. If we get like a banner of eternal flame, we could make them do fire damage. What the heck did I click here? Oh, that's what I clicked, okay. Yeah, they could combine fairly well with the flamethrower or flame cannon units who are beginning their first volleys. Let's see how they do. Ooh. We could only get some salamanders. Anyway, this poor unit of marauder horses gets hit by the grudge rakers at the same time, or specifically the grim delvers, thunderers with grudge rakers at the same time as a flame cannon, ripping them apart and dropping their HP by maybe 2/3. The other enemies are nearly in range as well, and more flame cannon shots are about to hit them. Gun down a few more of these poor marauders. There we go. Well, we start in on the rest of the enemies. Fire away. I can't wait till we get some Iron Drakes in this army. So far, the enemy army has not been able to approach us, just getting cooked as they approach, and considering this army is primarily made up of infantry, this is probably a pretty darn bad matchup for them. They don't know where to turn, as if they run directly towards us, they'll get cooked, but if they mill around, they'll get cooked, and if they back off, they'll get hit by grudge throwers, I guess. Alright, very nice, yeah. And the enemy still attempts to approach, just too bad you can't set the trees on fire, but that's all. No, it's all fine. It's all fine. Though the enemy army, not so much. 90% balance of power in our favor now, and a few more volleys from these flame cannons will probably see this little army off. And our pile of dwarf warriors never had to engage the enemy whatsoever. Alright, very nice. Oh, it looks like these guys are rallying. Not sure that's such a bright idea. There's those shrapnel grudge thrower hits coming in, followed by the flame cannons again, and with that, the enemy army will shatter, and the battle will be ours. There we go. All right, get it. I don't know whether we lost a single unit in there, but I'm very happy. Marry me, flame cannons. Oh my God, that was absolutely glorious. I am so much more excited now, getting to use these guys together with the Iron Drakes as well, and the flying gyrocopters, maybe a couple Knights of the Blazing Sun or some other fire units from a few of our allies. The Warriors of Dragonfire Pass to lead the front line. Yes, Fire Army is already on the way, and the earlier you get to use your Fire Army, the more fun you have with it. Now, we're probably not going to be able to keep this territory, just in case we're going to sack it. I hope you still have enough movement range to capture it. 49%. Ooh, but we still have a few grudges remaining. Oh, please take us to 50. Yes. Oh, oh, that just worked out with only a single turn remaining. Oh, man, that was close. Let's get a couple more Dwarf Warriors in here, though, just because I feel like we'll need them. But otherwise, our second army is, it's working. It's working. Working nicely. All right. Pretty darn happy with that result. Oh, I'm smiling ear to ear from those flame cannons. Loving the rework. Unfortunate that they don't have the arcing shot that they did anymore with that explosive sort of fireball that they used to fire. But they're pretty darn decent this way, and they certainly cook units very quickly. I'm kind of excited to compare how they do at cooking units as compared to the Goblin Hewers in terms of sheer damage output. Should be pretty interesting. Capture Carrick Doom. We're working on it, game. We're working on it. Don't worry. we'll capture Carrick-Doom. We gotta shore up our southern borders before we do. And, Wolfenburg's been destroyed. Hopefully Festus doesn't destroy the Empire. I have a feeling we're going to have to send an army to help against Vlad. Obviously not this summer. Frankly, the fire army would be incredible at that, because their fire units are really good against the undead and regenerating units in general. So maybe once they're sort of done up here, and no longer needed up here, we'll send the fire army south through the Empire, and maybe in the Empire's sort of reward, we'll get some Hellstorm rocket batteries and maybe some, maybe some Knights of the Blazing Sun. We'll see. Anyway, I believe we're good for this turn. Unassigned skill points, building upgrades available, damaged buildings, and don't bother repairing the Winter Pyre. And don't bother collecting the income for now, because we're going to have to abandon it to move south or north to the Port of Secrets anyway. I don't see much of a... I don't see us avoiding that. Alright. End the turn now. No. Got decent amounts of Oath Gold. I was looking to get the Ranger's crossbow for Malakai, as he likes firing from range, and I think there was another Ranger item. Yes, the Prospector's Spyglass. Accuracy in area. Frankly, we should probably get both. And there's other really good runes and that we want to get. We need more Oath Gold. I guess I should have been building more of those Oath Gold buildings, but for now we're okay. End turn. Let's see if anything interesting happens, though our public order is dying, and so is our, well, income. We're losing a lot of it. Malakai, let's see if you succeed here. Don't fail the ambush, please. Fellman, go here. Yes. Alright, ambush. Do we need to fight this? I'm gonna say that it'll be a fun battle, and so yes. Alright, here we go. An ambush battle means no speech, but it does mean, hopefully, a pretty glorious fight. We have deployed all of our Slayer pirates up front, and they're going to start volleying into the enemy lines immediately, and our Slayer pirates hit fairly hard with their missile strength, considering, but I guess they have low ammunition to compensate. I think this is also the first of the... first ambush battle that we will get in this campaign, though how one misses the Spirit of Grungni over your army to get ambushed in a column like this, I'm not entirely sure. We're also deployed close enough to be able to fire grape shot immediately along the line of the enemy formation, and this is going to be very, very ugly for those poor Norskins. There we go. Right through their lines, the first volleys from the cannon and from our pirates and dish out pretty massive amounts of damage to all those units. The rear of the enemy column is pretty much destroyed. Our single, one of our cannons is firing in regular cannon fire rather than grape shot here. Although I suppose I could have... wait. That's the one with the Rune of Seeking, or did I take that off? I don't even remember anymore. But I guess it doesn't matter, because these guys are pretty much dead either way. Gotrek and Felix have moved towards the enemy lord and are working on him to hopefully knock him out reasonably quick. It's not like he stands a chance here and has already lost about 30% of his HP, while all his troops are getting obliterated. We back off a little bit with our Slayer pirates to open up a little bit of distance between the enemy army, and then fire through them once again, once we've turned around. And, ooh, hit right through our own units with our grape shot artillery. Pretty much... knocks 20 units of our own out, but otherwise, the battle is done. And that's why I want to do some slow motion here, because this one was always going to be very, very quick. Now, those poor Norskins. Now just imagine if we had a few additional thunder barges in this particular battle, as well as we started this ambush. These cannons with grape shot are feeling extremely strong. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, I'd like to compare them to the other artillery pieces now. Hopefully they're not as strong as an organ gun. in terms of close combat. Anyway, Gotrek and Felix chase down the enemy lord. We don't actually really need to chase since the enemy army is in ambush stance, but I did just for fun because. Man, that grape shot is really, really nasty. And yeah, this poor cannon with that Ruinous Seeking, we can't use it on it anymore. And yeah, certainly we can use it only to target single entities, but well, we have other ways to knock them down, whereas we're just otherwise missing out on too much damage. Shame though it may be. I'm actually now curious as to compare the grape shot of the cannon to the flame cannons. They're both short-range infantry mincers, after all. It's certainly an interesting question. We're going to take the money because we're losing mass amounts of cash despite the fact that we could heal up because this army should be destroyed.
This one's for Grungni.
And I guess we'll take the Bay Blades. Hello, Makaisson's Persuader. Kill 3,000 enemies with artillery, gyrocopters, gyro bombers, and thunder barge units. Unique casualty punishment rate +8 for artillery and war machines, and gives us an ability that replenishes ammunition and heals arty or war machines as well. Well, that'll certainly help the Spirit of Grungni and the additional thunder barges that we have in our army. And a little bit of money ain't too bad either. I am going to give this a read as I didn't before, though. As good at fixing up machines as it is at bashing foes, the Persuader has proven to be a very useful tool indeed. Yet for too long, this intricately designed hammer has fallen into a state of disrepair. Document the successes of other Dowie engineering in battle. Perhaps what is learned from this battlefield research might be used to restore the Persuader to its former glory. Should have gone with Persuade the Persuader to return to its former glory. Anyway. Age of Reckoning is back once more, and we don't have the negatives, but, well, it looks like we're gonna have to get to work again. Yeah. And... I don't see a lot of grudges in the Norscan territories, which is kind of unfortunate. And I noticed that these things haven't really been increased. Okay, Carrick Valag has a decent amount. Yeah, how are we gonna get 10 turns? Huh. I fear that we may not reach the Age of Reckoning this time around. Or the next version of it, but, well, what can you do? Let's see, what do we have here? We could delay it. 20% more grudges, but at the same time, since we're having a difficulty reaching other places, this may be a decent time to do it, at least until Malakai loops back around to this place. Maybe we will, in fact, delay. Delay our next Age of Reckoning for 10 turns. Go for it. And yeah, we're going to these territories as well, which will be some of it. Some of the settled grudges, but nonetheless. Boris is alive, but the Monolith of Festerlong is very much not. The Howling Citadel, is it besieged? It is not. Let's just take a look at this. Hey, Dragonback Slayers and Goblobbers. Income from buildings for Malakai not needed, and Vanguard proficiency swill. There's that Persuader. Let's see if it actually went on Malakai. It did not. As somebody pointed out in the... I'm on Discord. Somebody pointed out in the Elspeth campaign, these items seem to have not been popping onto units automatically. Let's give Gotrek the Helm of Discord, give him a little bit of armor, I guess. And he's always in the thick of things, so he can debuff enemies as he goes. Malakai, you're going to head into the Bay of Blades in a second. I just need to figure out what else we've got going for us. First of all, let's upgrade here, Siok Traken. Then we'll move to the lair of the Troll King with both of you. Here. And here. Which reduces these things to free for the Dwarf Keep and nearly free for the Tinkerer's Shop. We do have the Watch Room here. Do we need it at the lair of the Troll King? I mean, I suppose enemies could loop around like this, but it does seem to be relatively safe. Could get engineering capacity by building our engineer thing, though we already have the recruitment availability. We don't have any runesmiths on the field, though. Though in theory we should be building this at a location where... Alright, let me just see here. Dragon Slayer needs a tier 4 to increase their capacity. Ooh. You do have Iron Drakes available. We could build it for very, very cheap. How far are we from Iron Drakes in the airship place? I mean, well, we could get this next. But it would also be nice to be able to build them elsewhere. And Crackerjack's not the worst place. We do want to build them at Hell Pit, of course. Oh, and speaking of Hell Pit, ooh, yeah, we'll want to... Well, actually, let's see. 15% cost construction reduction. These guys do 15% each, so it's still better to have both of them. Maybe we temporarily build a refectory here. I'll think about the other thing. Alright, you guys are good like that. Let's move you both now to Crackerjack. And build both of these for cheap. Nice and nice. Alright, well, we got one more turn to make use of expand the hold, so we gotta. Bay of Blades. You guys are at war with Throg. We should also take a look at if there's anything interesting happening here. Scaling peace. Do we want to peace out with the scaling temporarily? I mean, I suppose if we were to take Bay of Blades, peace out with the scaling, move north towards Throg, and then back around to the scaling. Once again, since we have, like, no grudges against some of the Norskins here. We do have against the scaling now, but we can wait until we get back around to them. Maybe I shouldn't have delayed it after all. But anyway, yeah, fine. Let's peace out with these guys temporarily, plus they'll give us money for our trouble. Then we can... Trade over to the Doxy. Non-aggression pact. Ice Court's not gonna be happy. But oh well, fine, do it. Non-aggression pact. I mean, we went to the trouble of saving them after all. And I still want some of their little groms. Just need to make friendly with these guys. If we were to declare war on the Fecondites, we could get military access with them. And probably a little bit of cash, though that'll probably mean the AI starts moving through their territories northward to target us. I think we will do that, but I think we'll also wait a little bit to do it. Doesn't have to necessarily be now. Malakai, head to the Bay of Blades. Like so, and I think this one's auto-resolvable. We'll... No, I was about to say we'll take out the Rune of Seeking, but we don't necessarily have to take it out. We just have to put it elsewhere. Occupy the place. And... 345. It's not horrible. Fine. Collect the income. Go for it. Why not? Alden Stronghold and Sonori. You will both want to leech XP until the... Ooh, Wulfric the Wanderer is right here. And he is at war with Throg. These two might destroy themselves, or they might wait for Malakai to knock him out. Let's get the improved engine output while we have the expand the hold available to us. It's never going to get cheaper after all. We do have a quest thing to get the target practice demi as well, though I was banking on getting a little something else. It's basically the only thing we can get right now while we have reductions, so let's just get it. And I don't really care for this one, so we can just ignore it for now. Next up, and what do we have here? Lord of the Deeps' intercepts Oath Gold from buildings. That really doesn't help. Vigor loss reduction out of obstinacy is quite nice, though. Slayers to me is maxed out. Center Blast Cluster Bombs. I am tempted by that. Let's get obstinacy for now. And I'm gonna say let's go with Always Ready. A little bit more reload. He doesn't hit that hard, but who knows. You, Mr. Gottschalk, getting stuck in was what we were gonna do. Melee defense, strider, and speed. So that you can, well, get stuck in faster. Then I was going to level you to get you replenished troops, and hold the rest of the points until level 12. Well, actually, we don't have to necessarily hold them. Well, actually, assuming that we get all of this and all of this, we do have to hold them, so yeah, never mind. Ignore me. Mark of Hish. Let's just get Dragon Slayer, screw it. There we go. Alright, the Horde be hoarding, the Bay of Blades be blading, everything else I'm reasonably happy with, assuming that Wulfric can't reach us here. Looking good. Stochel. Do we risk moving to the Altar of Spawns, where Throg might go for you, but we can't take it over? Very, very worried about Boris. He does look like he's rebuilding a stag, but he could get knocked out by Archaon at any time. We could sacrifice Winterpire and take it back. I think we sacrifice Winterpire. If we take the Port of Secrets and deal enough damage to Daniel's faction, Boris should therefore survive. And considering he likes Chaotic Wasteland, we can give all of the Chaotic Wasteland to him without having to worry about our north. There's a Mysterious Island here as well, that would help out. Though that'll send us away from the Port of Secrets. I guess if we sail on back... I'd rather land at the Port of Secrets next turn, so I think that's what we'll do. Now, what do we have available? We do have the Goblobbers, which we can pop into this army. And this could be a very artillery-heavy army. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3... Huh? Oh, there's a limited capacity of the Grudge Settler units. I don't necessarily need the Quarrelers here, but other than... I'm wondering whether we need the Longbeards here, but we might in case we actually run into something that is... Yeah, you know what, let's go Longbeards and let's go Grudge Thrower and ignore the Quarrelers with Great Weapons. We'll get more Quarrelers with Great Weapons, but in another army. Then combining this with the Goblobbers will give us a lot of range via artillery. You, sir. Get Route Marcher, so that you can move. We will land at the Port of Secrets next turn and occupy it, and then immediately trade it to Boris, hopefully before he dies. Alright, Stochel, you got it, buddy. Sacrificing Winterpire for this. Hopefully it works out nicely. Otherwise, I believe we are good to end the turn once more. You two... Well, actually... You two will want to jump to help it to reduce the construction cost there. And we'll probably have to delete one of you right after. Why delete one of them? Simply because with the Expand the Hold off, the additional supply lines of another one of these lords might not be worth it for us at the current time. Oh, we do have another engineer with Ancestral Blood Grungni, which would actually be cheaper than... you know what? I'll do this. We'll summon him next turn. We'll pop him into the army, yeah. That'll allow us to keep the engineer core without having 2 lords be the ones to do it with only the 1 lord. Of course, we'll need additional engineer capacity, but we'll get to work on that shortly. Anyway, let's get a new tech. Masterwork crossbows is great, but not something that would help us. Ooh, range for Thunderers and Slayer Pirates. It's a pretty decent use of Oath Gold. Range for Iron Drakes, yes please. Oh wow, there are Grudge Settler Iron Drakes as well? Okay, those are going to have to go into the Fire Army. And funnily enough, the Skolder Guard with their steam firing don't actually do fire damage. So you would think that the steam would burn jerks. I guess it's not directly fire damage, but it's close. Anyway, let's see what else we have. A defensive supplies faction-wide and ooh, casualty replenishment for all armies. That's probably the best one. I gotta get casualty replenishment. Sorry, everything else, but that Oath Gold has to be used for that. Alright, the rest of that looks good to me. Ignore the damaged buildings and assuming one more check of Diplo. And yes, I will wait, now we got Nordland willing to trade. Why not? You're not willing to be... Yeah, I'm not willing to pay you money for this. We'll just trade. Thank you, thank you. Ice Court, everybody else is looking good. We'll also keep an eye on Eataine and Avalorn, and we could eventually declare war on some of their enemies like this, and just make friends with them by virtue of that, because all of those enemies are too far from us to actually bother us in any way. And yes, it does mean trading with the filthy Elgi, but... Malakai's eccentric enough to do such a thing, let's face it. If anybody's gonna trade with the Elgi. Alright, let's see if anything else interesting happens this turn, though we are rapidly running out of time. And yeah, you're gonna reclaim that, that's fine. And oh, you're not gonna reclaim it, you're gonna sack it. Interesting. Not what I was expecting. Throg is moving this way as he ran away from Wulfric by the looks of it. Okay, interesting, interesting. Ooh, Talisman of Preservation and Armor of Fortune, very nice. I'm actually tempted to not give the Talisman of Preservation to Malakai, but instead give it to somebody like Gotrek or Garagrim. And there we go, there's that casualty replenishment trait. Fire Rat Poison, mission successful, Dragonsbane. I don't know what we did to do that, but I appreciate it. Malakai, you cannot reach the Sarl encampment, but which... Ow! I think we got another battle on our hands, folks. Wulfric the Wanderer's right there with a big old stack. You can't reach. You're still... Yeah, okay, that's fine. Move on up. We can go into the army.
Get those cannons moving. Engineer. Dishonored.
And do we need to level? Geragrim, I think, is saving his points. What we do need to do is this. You two, jump to help it. And jump to help it. Like so. Then we'll get that other engineer with the Ancestral Blood Grungni. That maxes out our engineering capacity, but we'll get more. Then help it will be able to be upgraded for relatively cheap. And we're not waiting here for 5 turns, and assuming we really don't need to jump down anywhere else... I mean, I guess we could go to Siogtrekken, but I think at this point we can delete Cazador and possibly bring him back later when we need something else that's really, really expensive. So goodbye, Cazador. Which gives us about 600 gold per turn, which is nice. You, sir, head to the Port of Secrets, please. Don't see their stack. There they are. There they are. They do have a full stack there, this army. You're gonna have to be real careful because you're not maxed out. But we have to save Boris. No choice in the matter. How much will this hurt us? You know what? I'm gonna fight this between the episodes to make sure that the auto-resolve doesn't screw us over. Just manually, real quick, but I'm not gonna waste time on it on screen. Rather, we have other things to fight on screen. Wulfric, you're not running from this, right? You got the Sarlin camping backing you up? I don't imagine you'll run. Geragrim. Gotrek, you're probably gonna be the one dueling... Huh? Oh, I gave Geragrim the helm. Yeah, that's fine. You can get the talisman and the armor. You're probably going to be the one dueling Wulfric. Wait. Geragrim is more fragile, though. Considerably more fragile. But we can keep him back to deal with, like, mammoths and stuff rather than Wulfric, for example. So I think maybe that's still the way. And there's nothing else to give anybody else, which means we're ready to go. Wulfric, Wolfie, buddy, friendo. Let's play. Alright, close victory, low casualties, no need for any Rune of Seeking. Too bad we don't have the flame cannons with us, but I think we can deal. Yeah.
The ship may have sunk and the airship exploded, but bad luck doesn't come in threes.
Alrighty, that's a lot of cheering coming in from the various dwarfs around. Malakai's in the midst of the cannon, which are all going to try to focus down those feral mammoths. It looks like Wulfric and his army are willing to wait for their reinforcements to arrive, so we definitely want to dish out enough damage to the big boys before the enemy starts moving towards us. They do outnumber us by, well, they've got a stack and a half to our full stack, right? Though the big boys, the mammoths, can certainly rush through our lines if we let them. That said, Wulfric, unfortunately, really unfortunately for him, is on his chariot rather than on his mammoth, which is, I guess, pretty bad for him. Though on the other hand, if he was on his mammoth, we'd be targeting him with our cannon. Anyway, looks like the feral mammoth of the enemy has gone into rampage, but interestingly enough, doesn't actually try to move towards our battle lines. Huh. Is it... It's almost like the AI is still able to control this thing. It's sort of walking around and staying together with the rest of the troops. It's kind of interesting. Or is there some distance at which rampage doesn't force you into combat? Or is this just the AI cheating? I don't know what's going on here, but, well, keep firing, I guess. We got a little bit more time until the enemy reinforcements are on the field, 40 or so seconds, in fact, so the mammoth is liable to take at least a few more of the regular cannon shots. Alright, it's taking a long time to bring this thing down, even with 4 cannons firing upon it, though. Could probably use a couple more engineers in this army to keep buffing up all the artillery and war machines. And okay, there we go, a couple more hits, and this thing's down to 4.2k HP, though, yeah, once again. Work a little harder, cannons. Bring that thing down, hopefully before the enemy army as a reinforcement arrive. I suppose additional stray shots are also smashing into the Marauder Hunters back here. Not on purpose, but that's also working for us, so can't complain. Anyway, it looks like another rampage on this feral mammoth, and that has annoyed the enemy army enough to finally start moving towards us. Alright, well, it shouldn't be a problem knocking the mammoth out, and the reinforcements are moving on the field, but they're blobbed up pretty nicely, so why not have the Spirit of Grungni start annoying them? There we go, big boy, our own big boy has arrived. We've got cannons, we've got blunderbusses, or whatever the grudge rakers, I guess, harpoons, and bombs are ready for the Norskins here. Gun them all down. Oh, you gotta love these frickin' things. Can't wait till we have a proper air force with thunder barges and other aerial escort. And it looks like they're trying to chuck axes at the Spirit of Grungni, though interestingly enough, it has sort of it has an ironclad underside, which means that I guess that wouldn't be super effective against it. I like that aspect of the design. So it's not designed really for taking broadsides, clearly, since the wood is up here and the metal is down here. And considering, well, there aren't too many enemy airships to be found, this does make sense. Anyway, Wulfric's main stack is heading towards us in the meantime. Looks like the Maw herd of Bloodfjord now leading the way, as the other mammoth is far behind and pretty heavily damaged. Though these guys aren't taking nearly as much damage as we'd like, and by the looks of it, might be able to reach our lines. Wulfric is going to bypass Gotrek and Felix, who are trying to chase him down. I do wish there was some kind of taunt thing or something, but oh well. It would probably be too overpowered. Especially for certain characters. I mean, this is Wulfric we're talking about. He's pretty big on dueling. I'm pretty sure he'd immediately try to fight Gotrek. But not to worry, it looks like he'll get trapped by some Slayer pirates and Giant Slayers who will surround him. Gotrek will hit him and he'll immediately drop down to half HP. With all these Giant Slayers and Gotrek whacking away at Wulfric's chariot, he's going to drop extremely quickly. We're going to take a little bit of damage ourselves as the enemy sorcerer pops off a Golden Hound of Gehenna, or Gehenna's Golden Hounds, upon us, but we have switched now to Grape Shot and are starting to obliterate enemy infantry units. Of course, a lot of their line did manage to reach us this time around, but, well, we had to focus down the mammoths. No choice in that. Spirit of Grungni has taken a little bit of damage in the background, but look at the damage it's dealt to the approaching army. Pretty darn good. Several units down to half HP and the others being quite annoyed. 195 kills on it and 21k damage. They all have to continue suffering while on the approach. Out here on the rightmost flank, we've got some Chaos or Norscan Warhounds and Marauder horses fighting some Slayer pirates and having done decent damage to them as well. Doomseekers facing off against Marauder's spears, and I remember there was a comment asking about the ability of the Doomseekers. Unfortunately, I think they have to be in melee for 90 seconds straight to actually get the ability going, which has rarely, if ever, happened so far. Out here, we have Giant Slayers facing off against Marauder Berserkers, and the Marauder Berserkers just wreck them. We're gonna have to book the Giant Slayers on out of there and allow a few other units to move in and help the Giant Slayers out, lest they take too much damage. The rest of the enemy armies are on the approach, but are now getting hit by the Grape Shot cannons, and they're just not going to reach our battle lines, especially with the Spirit of Grungni firing on them from behind while the Grape Shot hits them from the front. Alright, looks like the Giant Slayers will have to defend themselves, but will continue dropping in droves against these Marauder Berserkers. I guess with them being anti-infantry and not having a lot of armor-piercing damage, it's kind of an interesting unit to send against Slayers in particular. Pretty interesting. And considering the cost of the units, this is pretty darn cost-effective. And sadly for the enemy army, though the battle itself, not so much cost-effective, I mean, as the enemy army will rout and the battle is ours. pretty good by the looks of it. 5.5 minutes, I would say probably 4 minutes of straight up combat, a little bit longer, and then the standard battle, but a very decent fight. Once again, great work out of the Spirit of Grungni. Although to be fair, its damage at 33k and 327 kills is probably not going to be all that much more than some of the cannons here. 24, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, so it's like another super powerful artillery piece, which ain't too bad. And certainly we've seen our own cannons do plenty more damage than this, so it's nothing crazy. Hopefully we can chase down the enemy lord, and generally speaking, we will need to chase the enemy down and destroy as much of him as we can. Use your cannons to kill off this lord, please, Spirit. There we go, very nice, and he's gonna get back up with 206 HP, but the Spirit of Grungni will continue. Where are you gonna run, friend? Cannonfire, there we go. Knock him down and knock him out. The enemy lord is done for, just like Wulfric. A very nice fight. Alright, very nice, and we could heal up. We are in enemy territory, but the enemy armies are pretty much done for, so I think we're pretty free to execute them without doing so. The cannons once again did well, though they couldn't really use their grape shot all that much this time around, as they were busy trying to knock out those mammoths, which was pretty key to the victory. I was a little bit disappointed to see that the giant slayers got absolutely obliterated by the enemy marauder berserkers, though that may not be so much an indictment of the giant slayers as it is praise of how well the berserkers did, so good job to them. Malakai doesn't seem to be doing too much damage, but that's not really his purpose, so we'll leave him as he is and hope he can continue buffing up the artillery and such, and then on occasion enter melee. We're gonna take the money because we need the oath gold, and we certainly need the money as well. These guys are going to back off, and alas, we will not be able to chase them down, but the Sarl encampment should fall to us next turn. Not really a great defeat trade out of Wulfric, but oh well, not a big deal. And another mission successful. We keep succeeding on missions without really trying. 2 more turns until we can start another adventure as well. So this was kill 1,500 enemies with flame cannons, which we got, and ooh, this gives the flame cannons dig in? That's insanity. That increases their range massively. Well. And form a trade agreement with the Kislev Empire. I'll actually be able to do this relatively quick should we desire to do so. Interesting. Complete the dilemma manling priorities. Where is this? That's actually not that far. We could reach this fairly quickly should we desire it. But anyway, with that, we're out of time. After all, we did do 4 cinematic battles this time around, and that obviously took a little bit of effort in terms of time, and will take a lot of effort in terms of editing. Next time, we hit the Port of Secrets and just attack the Legion of Chaos, hoping to save Boris, such that he can have all of the north to himself. Our southern borders are looking pretty good, as Kislev seems to be going pretty strong here. Just got to keep it nice and friendly with them and make sure they don't get hit too hard by orcs or undead or anybody from the south in general. We'll probably have a sort of police force just to essentially police the Empire, as we can't trust the AIs to do it, but obviously that won't be Malakai, as after he is done here he is going towards his victory conditions. Anyway, more glorious Dowie action to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the hour-long episode. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.